23 of the NFL draft. You know, he's been in the spotlight for much of the offseason after the New York Post published those photos of him with our former colleague Diana Russini and all that has happened since then. Vrabel yesterday says he's concentrating on coaching. Take a listen.
We all have to deal with things, outside of here. And my focus and obviously the excitement that I have for coaching is what is most important right now.
Do you anticipate having to miss football activities again for the rest of the spring?
I mean, I can only tell you I'm going to be there today, Ben. I can't tell you anything other than I'm going to be out there today in full force. And I mean that because, who knows what's going to come up. I'm not even, anything could happen. And so I'm going to focus on today.
So that was just sort of a boiled down the basic points that he was trying to make. And I think from a football perspective, the part of this story that we have covered here and will cover here is any way in which it might impact a team that was in the Super Bowl last year. What is the sense you're getting? You know some of the people there. What's the sense you're getting about that?
When it comes to the football part, especially now, this time of the year, OTAs are starting. Guys are out there actually practicing. And Vrabel has been out there as loud as he always is. I was talking to Mike Reese, who's a reporter down there, talked to Milton Williams after practice. He said Vrabel is himself. He's out there. He's talking trash to the guys. He's loud. He's coaching. I think that's the part where as players in the locker room, everyone has something going on outside of football.
Exactly.
What do you want to know as a player? When you show up as a coach, are you putting me in position to succeed? If you're doing that, that allows me to take care of my family and chase a dream I've had since I was a little kid and being a professional football player. So as we get closer and closer to football, I think the distraction moves further away and the focus becomes X's and O's.
That's a very, maybe the most commonly used word in the football language, Harry, is the word distraction. And so I guess I want to ask you that question. Is this something that you think as a distraction could impact the Patriots season?
I think the New England Patriots as an organization, it only becomes a distraction if they allow it to. Grenade, and I'm glad J-Mac said what he said because I want to take our viewers behind the scenes into the locker room. When players and coaches pull up to that facility, everything that they have going on, and trust me, there are a boatload of people that have this and that, whether it's family, friends, business, things in the business world that could be going on that could be bothering them. But when you pull up to that facility, that is your sanctuary. That is your chance to get away from all the madness that is going on outside of football, where you can just say, you know what, I'm free. I can be myself. I can act like a kid. I can be a 5-year-old. I can get in here. I can be serious. I can watch film. I can have that bond with my teammates and just get away from all the madness. And I think that's one of the things that I don't hear people talking about as much, and I'm glad J-Mac brought it up. We played together in the locker room, and we've had a boatload of teammates and also coaches that are going through serious things on the outside world. But when you get to that facility, that's the opportunity where you can just let all those things go and just focus on football and the task at hand. And I would add this for the New England Patriots. They made it to a Super Bowl a season ago, and I'm going to do my best Greeny impression.
Okay.
Cindy, Can you give me B13? Could you give me B13? And the reason why I'm asking for B13, these are the first 4 games for the New England Patriots. At Seattle, Pittsburgh at home, the Jaguars on the road, and then at Buffalo. Now, what's the common denominator with all those 4 teams, Greeny? They all made the playoffs a season ago, and 3 of those 4 games are on the road. The Patriots cannot afford to have distractions derail their season before it actually even starts.
That was well done in every possible way. Michael, I think a lot of our audience also watches you guys on PTI, but for those who've not heard, just your perspective on this and to the extent, if any, that you think it impacts
they
his
haven't
ability
heard
to
about
coach.
it on PTI because we refuse to talk about it.
Yeah, but the coaching piece of it, I think this is a legitimate conversation to have.
I hate media naivete. Okay?
Explain.
And what we have now is an industry where it's about analytics, it's about hot takes, it's about podcasts, about all kinds of things. And people don't get into and cover locker rooms anymore. And everything that they have just said is on the money. This has no impact. Okay, I'm saying this as a media person. I've been in locker rooms all my life. Okay, 45 years. This has no impact in the football locker room. None, Greeny. There are guys with so many other things going on. Look, and I'm not trying to diminish or tell people what they should think about what Vrabel was or was not involved in. It doesn't matter. I'm talking about covering Hall of Fame coaches like Joe Gibbs and those Washington Redskins teams. And that was a really vanilla group for about 13 years. Mm-hmm. And yet there were things going on that the word distraction would come up, because Joe would use it all the time. It's like, this is not distracting anybody. This is not going to distract them. If you were in the locker room for one of the controversial groups.
Yeah.
Okay, the Mike Ditka, Jim McMahon, Richard Dent Bears. They had stuff going on, and it was almost seen as comical, right? It was most of the time. This means nothing. This is largely media driven in terms of the continued coverage. I understand the initial coverage. The continued coverage, like it's going to impact a team on a Tuesday, much less a Sunday, it offends me. It's so stupid. And it speaks to our business and what people don't know about locker rooms anymore. They don't cover it. Newspapers don't exist, right? Right. They're media outlets that don't get in a locker room. They don't know what it's like, the fabric of it, the chemistry of it, what goes on. And so it's just like, oh, my goodness.
I can't think of a better way to leave it than that.
Patriots are turning the page on their Super Bowl defeat from last season and looking ahead. Quarterback Drake May met with the media Wednesday and fielded questions about the road ahead to a Week 1 rematch against the Seahawks, along with the trade rumors surrounding the addition of receiver A.J. Brown to New England's offense. Take a listen.
I think it's part of the NFL. They throw names around every team, depending on whoever looks best in the graphic and the jersey on social media. So, I'm really just focused. We got some new guys in here that I'm working with, and I know there's some, a lot of talk with that. But, if he ends up being on our team, great. What a great player. And if he doesn't, we still got to work these guys here. So it's tough balance, but I know he's a phenomenal player.
Drake May saying everything he's supposed to. It's time for a little McCourt Vision with our NFL analyst, Jason McCourty, up early with us this morning. So, Jason, simple question. We're going to ask you something and just fill in the blank for us. Let's start with the Patriots. New England becomes blank if they trade for A.J. Brown.
A top 10 offense that can compete and be on the field with anyone. Drake May is correct. A.J. Brown in a Patriots uniform, photoshopped however you like it. It looks good, and it would mean a ton for this offense. The weapons they have, bringing over Romeo Doubs, the two guys they have in the backfield, Travion Henderson now going to be in his second year. And at the very center of all of it, Drake May, after a MVP type of season where he finished second, getting a weapon like A.J. Brown that in gotta-have-it situations, you can line him up on the outside and trust that he's going to get open and make a play.
All right, let's discuss, Jason, another AFC contender. We were talking about Lamar Jackson earlier in the show. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens will be blank under new head coach Jesse Minter.
Trying to defy history. Jesse Minter, a rookie head coach, and the expectation and the hope is that he is the guy that can help put this team over the hump and get them to the Super Bowl. 5 head coaches have done that in the NFL. The last one was in 2009 when Jim Caldwell did it with the Indianapolis Colts. This is a hard feat. Now, Minter's getting there, the transition of getting used to a new head coach. Also, Declan Doyle, a first-time play caller, will be the one calling the shots for Lamar Jackson.
All right, last one. Let's go to the NFC North. The Vikings QB room of Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy will be blank compared to last season.
The most intriguing storyline of the NFL this training camp. When you look at these two quarterbacks, who's going to come out on top of this competition? What is the dynamic going to be like in the quarterback room? Already, J.J. McCarthy said it's like being back in high school. I'm on one side of the room, Kyler's on the other, and it's up to the coaches to teach us and get us ready to play. This is an uncomfortable situation. J.J. McCarthy was brought in there to be the guy, and now they've signed Kyler Murray, and the expectation is he's going to be the guy to win that job. Fascinating, intriguing, fun to watch all summer long to see who comes out on top.
Yeah, we heard from J.J. McCarthy early on in the show trying to convince the rest of us that it's not an awkward situation. Vikings open the season hosting the Packers on September 13th. Jason, thanks so much for the insight.